2, Pham's Log, Week 6, Distance Learning. How's it going? I just finished the NBA Finals. The Lakers won, I was happy about that, but also at the same time, I'm like third quarter into the Vikings game, and I am sad. The Vikings are putting me into pain. But that's what being a Vikings fan is all about, I guess. Sorry that I keep making these after the Vikings game, being sad during them. Last week was great, but this week, sad. Let's get right into it. So our goals of the day. First thing is I can write the counts for rhythms with eighth note and eighth note rests. So we worked last week on writing in the counts for rhythms in 4/4 time with whole notes, dotted half notes, quarter notes, along with the rest. This week we're adding eighth notes, and if you don't know what eighth notes are, you're about to learn in like 1 minute. Second thing is I can clap and count simple rhythms in 4/4 time. So again, I want this to be a semi-interactive video where you clap and count with me. That's the most important thing to learn how to do. It's great if you know what an eighth note is, or a whole note and a half note, and you know it gets 2 beats or 4 beats or whatever. That's awesome, but can you put it to the test? When I give you a steady beat like this, can you clap it? And the goal is, if you're by yourself, which you all are distance learners, so you're by yourself, I give you a rhythm, you can clap it, you can count it, you can perform it by yourself and try to figure those rhythms out. And someday that's going to go into either music lab or band or choir. You're going to be sitting in rehearsal and you're going to see a quarter note and know what to do, or see a whole note, know what to do, even when sight reading. So again, just a little bit of review before we go straight into the eighth note stuff. We've got our time signature here, and we've got a 4/4 measure, okay? Top number, think about it for a second. What does that top number mean? Top number means how many beats are in a measure. If it's a 4 beats in a measure. Bottom number means what note gets the beat. So the bottom number is 4, and 4 equals quarter note. Let's say this bottom number is 2, so 4/2 time. We would change all of these quarter notes into half notes. So it'd be 4 half notes in measure. What if it was 4 one time? 1 on the bottom. 1 means whole notes. So these would be 4 whole notes in a measure. So that's how that bottom number affects it. I always think that's the harder one to sort of get wrapped around your brain. But we're working 4/4 time, 4 beats in a measure. And the important thing that we need to make sure we know this week or last week is each one of these quarter notes has a spot. The first quarter note is beat 1. The second quarter note is beat 2, third is beat 3, and the fourth is beat 4. We'll continue through. So again, here's our note and rest tree. We know our whole note. This is our whole note, gets 4 beats. Our half note gets 2 beats. Our quarter note gets 1 beat. And now, the note that we are learning today, the eighth note. If you notice, we're splitting these notes into 2, okay? So if a quarter note gets 1 beat, our eighth note gets half a beat. We're splitting that quarter note into 2 equal halves, so 1/2 of a beat. We'll talk about that in a second. Same thing, whole rest splits into 2 half rests, splits into 2 quarter notes, splits into 2 eighth notes, or half a beat rests. Here's your eighth note. Again, our eighth note is half a beat in 4/4 time, so half of a quarter note. 2 eighth notes go into 1 quarter note. When it's up like this, it looks like this. When it's the stem's on the bottom, it'll look like this. This is when it's by itself. One of the things that people get mixed up is they don't put these 2 things together. These are both eighth notes. When it's 2 or 3 or 4 together, they beam them. And when it's just 1 beam like this, that's still an eighth note. This is your eighth note rest, okay? So again, it'll either have a tail, 1 tail, or it'll have this beam and it'll only be 1 beam on top. That's your eighth note. That's what it looks like. And again, it gets half a beat in 4/4 time, 1/2, or you can do 0.5, however you want to think about that. So this is how we count eighth notes in a measure. So if we had 4 quarter notes in a measure, this is our beat. We would just go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are all the numbers, okay? Those are your quarter notes. Now we're cutting that quarter note into halves, and now each beat has a front side and a back side, okay? So it has a front and a back. You notice that there's pluses underneath some of the eighth notes. Okay, that's the second half of the beat. Even though it looks like a plus, we're gonna call that and. Okay, say and. And those are the back sides of the beat. If you're tapping your foot to this, like say, just try tapping your foot. Whenever your foot goes up in the air, that's your eighth note, the backside of that eighth note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. How would you say it with me? Ready? 1, 2, say it with me and go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The trick with eighth notes, they're not as tricky as some people think. The only times when eighth notes get really tricky is if you don't know what the beat is. If we can't feel the beat and really split this into 2 equal parts, we struggle. A lot of people then struggle with eighth notes, okay? You have to really know what your beat is. And subdivide, that's a nice little vocab word for you. Subdivide means breaking that beat into eighth notes and thinking about that eighth note all the time, going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Knowing that subdivision is going to really help when we start learning how to count and clap towards the end of this video. So let's do a couple problems together as I exit out. Again, we've got eighth notes here, quarter note, more eighth notes, and a rest. If we added all these notes up, they would equal 4. Okay? Half, half, 1, half, half, 1, it equals 4. The first part of the beat, so again, now each beat, 1, 2, 3, and 4, also has an and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The mistake distance learning students that I was seeing, and it's probably my fault for not explaining it well enough, is a lot of people are just putting the value. So when they see a half note, they're like, oh, it's a half note, I'm just going to put a 2 in that box. Or it's a quarter note, oh, I'm just going to put a 1 in that box. Or if it's a whole note, I'm just going to put 4. That's not what we want when we do this. What we want is, where do I clap in that 4/4 measure? Is it on beat 1, 2, 3, 4? Or now is it on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and? Okay? That's what I want to know. When do I clap within the measure? So the first thing that happens to the measure is always 1. Okay, that's the first part of beat 1. It's the first quarter note that happens in the measure. The second half, this is the and, so because these are eighth notes. 1 and, you would put a plus there. Okay. Beat 1 is spent. This is a whole, if we added these 2 eighth notes together, that's a quarter note. Okay. And that quarter note gets 1 beat. So we already filled up beat 1. So after we fill up beat 1, this would be beat 2. The and of 2 is in this quarter note. We don't have to show that the and is there. We're just going to say that's 2, and we assume that the and is in there. We know that a quarter note gets a whole beat, so we're not going to write the and or put a dash or anything. We're just going to write 2. Beat 2 is all filled up. Okay, so if beat 2 is filled up, the next beat is beat 3. So we put a 3. That's the beginning of beat 3. These are eighth notes. Since it's an eighth note, we still have a second half. So in that second half, we're going to put and. And again, beat 3 is filled up now. So we've got a rest. In beat 4, we're going to put parentheses around that. Again, the mistake some people might make on that exit ticket at the end of this is they're going to put 0.5. 0.5, 1, 0.5, 0.5, 1. That's not what we want. I want to know, when do I clap in the measure? Is it beat 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and? Those are your options. Let's clap this rhythm together. 1 and 2 and clap and go. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Try it again. 1 and 2, clap, ready and go. 1 and 2, 3 and rest. Okay, try it by yourself. 1 and 2 and ready and go. 1 and off. Hope that went well. Let's try another one together. This one's a little bit trickier. When we look at it, sometimes when we have eighth notes by themselves in our head, we can't see as easily on where the starts of the notes are, where are numbers, when are we doing the backside. So let's actually divide this up and try to figure it out together. So again, that first thing that happens in a measure is always, within a 4/4 measure, the first chord note spot is beat 1. So we know the first thing is beat 1, or the first rest is beat 1. That's the first number that goes in. This is an eighth note. This is an eighth note. If this is an eighth note, then we still have half of beat 1 left. This is an eighth note rest. That's on the back side of beat 1. We are going to put parentheses plus in there, okay, to show that we rest on the and of 1. Beat 1 is taken up, so this is beat 2. 2 has an and in it, but it's a chord note, so it takes up the whole beat. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky, okay? We've got a rest at the beginning of a beat. Okay, 2 is already taken up, so it works just like it did before if there was a note there. We'd put 3 in that spot, except 3 isn't a quarter note. This is an eighth note rest, so it only took up half of beat 3. So we still have to show the other half, so this is and, okay? Right over here, we've filled up beat 3. We've got beat 4, and it's a rest, so we're going to put 4 there, and it's a quarter rest, so it fills up the entire thing. Okay, let's try clapping this one. 1 and 2 and clap and go. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Oh, I messed up with the clap there. I'll try it again. 1 and 2 and again and go. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Notice I am in my head, even though I'm not saying it out loud. I might on this next one actually, but even though I'm not saying it out loud, I'm subdividing and feeling that, and sort of getting all messed up, sort of subdividing and in my head saying 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and making sure I know where that steady beat is, okay, and how to cut up my eighth notes. Even if it's a quarter note, I'm thinking 2 and 3 and 4 and, just because if I don't, I'm guessing. We don't want to guess. We want to know exactly when this and of 3 is. This is the tough one. Try it again. 1, 2, ready, and go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Try it again. 1 and 2 and ready, and go. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Now, if you're saying 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and like splitting that up evenly, you just have to wait, and it's right after 3. You're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and clap right on the end of 3. That's the tricky part. Let's do a couple more practice rhythms together. Here's our rhythm. I'm going to give you guys one time through. I'm just going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, or I'll say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I need you guys just to, in your house, clap the rhythms. 1 and 2, try clapping and go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Hope that went well. Let's try clapping with me. I'll give you the answer. 1 and 2 and clap and go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and. Try counting and clapping now. Counting and clapping, that means when you clap the numbers, or you say the numbers that you clap out loud. 1 and 2, count and clap and go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and. So, hope that went well. Let's try a little bit of a trickier one. Okay, so you're looking at this and you're like, whoa, what the heck? There's a lot of different rests in here, okay? This first measure is a lot easier than you think. If you think about it, this is beat 1. This is the and of 1. This is beat 2. It's the and of 2. This is beat 3. This is the and of 3. It's beat 4. This is the and of 4. You're just clapping on the numbers, okay? Let's just clap that rhythm together. 1, 2, clap that rhythm and go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's just like if there's 4 chord notes there. If you're playing saxophone or singing, you would just make it shorter, make sure you've got some rest in the second half. But they play almost just like quarter notes. If you're on snare drum and you were playing this on like a drum or something, they would feel just like quarter notes. This is the tricky one. This is the opposite of this. This is the rest is on the numbers, and we're just clicking the ands, okay? To do this, we have to have a really good sense of our beat and when we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a really good sense of the front side of the beat and the back side of the beat, okay? Let's just try measure 3 together. 1 and 2 and clap and go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again 1, 2, ready and go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and if you're saying it and you're saying 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and while you clap, it makes it easier. We want to play on the numbers. We want to clap on the numbers. It's harder for us to clap on the ands because when you listen to a pop song, no one's going and 2 and 3 and 4 and when they're or tapping their foot to the ands. We're all tapping our foot to the numbers, and that's why it's a lot harder and not as natural to do the ands. Let's try clapping the whole thing together. 1, 2 and clap and go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? Try, as a little bit of practice after this video, just try in your head just going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and trying to switch between the two, playing on the ands or playing on the numbers. They distance-wise they're the same. It's just the feel and like trying to play on the backside, something that sort of messes with your brain. Let's try a rhythm that sort of puts everything we learned together. Let's work in chunks, okay? Let's start with measure 1. Let's start with that one. Clap it ready. 1 and 2, clap, measure 1, go. 1, 2 and 3, 4. Clap it together. 1 and 2, clap with me and go. 1, 2 and 3, 4. Clap measure 2. We've got a tough one here. We have another one of those ands, okay? So we're resting on 4, and on the and of 4 we clap. Let's clap together. 1, 2, clap together and go. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and. Notice how I said 4. That helps me a lot. If I know that rest is on 4 and I go 4 and, I can split that up and it helps me a little. Let's clap together. 1, 2, clap together and go. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and. Last measure, ready. 1 and 2, last measure, clap, go. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Try it again. 2, ready and go. 2 and 3 and 4. Let's clap the whole thing together. Try it. And a 1 and 2, clap, ready and go. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, and 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Try clapping. I'll give you the answer now. Clap and count with me. 1, 2, count and clap and go. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. And 1, 2 and 3 and 4. I hope that went well. All of you guys, if you ever need to pause the video or go back and some of those rhythms, like we have to go. I try to go fast in the video so we're not sitting here for 30 minutes. But if you need more practice on this, go back, rewind, try the other rhythms again, because it's really important that we start to learn how to clap this stuff by yourself. So what do you have to do today? It's pretty simple. All you need to do is complete the exit ticket in week 6, Monday, Tuesday folder, work check. So what note is that? Music crossword, exit ticket, 924, note value quiz, write in the counts. Again, conferences are happening October 20th, so we're coming up in exactly a week, I believe, or around a week away from conferences. Let's get all that late work in before then. And if you don't have late work and you finish the exit ticket and you're a band student, talking to you, Millie, Greta, go practice during this time. There are other band students in there too. Those are the ones I can remember right now. Go practice. If you're not a band student and you finish all of this and you finish all the extra work, go do something productive or not productive. Take a break maybe if you'd like out of your busy day. Unless you're Greta or Millie, go practice, okay? That's all I have for you today. Sorry I was sad because of the Vikings. Hope they're winning. I took a break from the game. Well, let's take a live scoring update. Let's see. Oh, 2 points away. 2-point game. A little bit better. But I'm sure the Vikings will make me sad in about 15 minutes. I'll let you know next video. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Get something done. Happy practicing. See you later. Bye-bye.